Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel. My name is Michael, and in this episode of Miniatures Mondays, we are talking about Lego Speed Champions. For those of you that don't know, Lego has been doing cars for many decades, but within the last 15 years or so, they came out with this line called Speed Champions, and they really doubled down on becoming more accurate in their builds and doing real cars, obviously officially licensed and all of that jazz. And they frankly are pretty darn cool. And, like this one right here can go from the stock F40 to the LM, comes with all of the different options there. Almost all of them come with two different wheel options, drivers and driver suits, all sorts of cool stuff. Now, none of this is probably news to you, but what could be news to you if you don't follow Lego real close is that there was a scale change a couple of years ago in this regular Speed Champions line. You see, the older ones, like this car right here, are 6 studs across. Now, what that means is when you look at the car, the main body of the car has 6 studs, the little pips here on the top of the Legos. They are only 6 wide, and that means a car that your little Lego guy sits in the middle of, and then you get just kind of one row of bricks on either side of where they are sitting to make the car. And it makes a car that is a reasonably compact size and scaled with other Lego products. Now, what's changed is the Lego Speed Champions are now 8 studs wide, which, 2 more doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually 50% larger in width, which also makes them larger in length. So the new Speed Champions cars are significantly larger than these. These rough out to about 1/32nd scale, give or take, just kind of like overall size dimensions. The newer ones are more like 1/24th scale. They're like the size of a model car. And oftentimes even have 2 seats in them for 2 of the little Lego people instead of 1. It makes for far more accurate looking cars. I mean, this F40 is pretty neat, but I mean, realistically isn't that accurate of a body shape versus the newer ones are much closer and more faithful. What that means is that if you want to collect these and you want to have them all the same size, you either want to collect just the older ones or just the newer ones and not mix and match. So definitely pay attention. Now, all that being said, if you didn't want to collect only the same size, you absolutely can mix and match, and they are just fine. They're fun to play with, they're fun to build, they're fun to own, and frankly, they're a neat little collectible thing that you can either keep for yourself or do with your kids for not a whole lot of money. And I will say that if you have been collecting these older Speed Champions and maybe you're not so much into it anymore or you want to convert to the newer scale, some of these older kits are worth quite a bit of money. Some of them, like this F40, really aren't that much. I think secondhand market, even if it's perfect and has all the parts and stuff, is somewhere around $20, which is about what it was new. But there are certain cars like the Ford GT40 double set, the Porsche double set that had the 918 and the 911 RSR. Those can go for significant amounts of money. You're talking upwards of $100 for the kit, even if it's built and you don't necessarily have everything with it, because they are that hard to find. And Lego collectors are going after them regardless of whether or not they're car people. So if you do have these older ones and you're not necessarily wanting to keep a hold of them, definitely a way you can make some money back to put to your big car. I will say that if you are looking to sell them, make sure you have all of the extras and spares. This really is where the value comes from. This is a large difference in the value of the car. If you don't have all of these, you are definitely not getting the full purchase price. Because again, as I said, Lego collectors go after these. So like this particular signboard is from that double kit I was telling you about. This is a different one with the 911 RSR and the 911 Turbo. The piece itself is not that rare, being a black flat 4x2, but the sticker on it is incredibly rare. So this is the only way to get that sticker. And so this particular piece goes for quite a bit. There are, however, sometimes actual rare pieces where the piece shape and or just the color that piece is made in make it very valuable. Sometimes it's tampo printing, like the little Ferrari emblem that you see here on the little 1x1. That is not a decal. That is actually tampo printed on the Lego piece, and the only kit you could get it in is this one. So that piece right there is worth almost as much as the entire model car. And it should go without saying, but obviously if you have the full instruction manual and box, that definitely adds to things and gets you your full value. Now, it does seem like most real big car people have any of the Lego things gravitate toward the Technic sets. They're the ones that are much larger, 1/18th, even 1/12th scale, that have all the working parts, right? The wheels steer and roll. You've got oftentimes opening hoods and doors, working engines, things like that. There's also ones that you can motorize and even remote control. And those tend to kind of hold our interest more than the little, kind of almost geared more toward kids, little Speed Champion sets. But some of these, again, can be a whole lot of fun. They did one particular set in the older series here that was an entire Ferrari Formula One racing team setup with a wind tunnel and a dyno, and it had like a historic 70s Ferrari, like a 312 F1 car. That whole getup goes for like $300, $400, $500 depending on how complete and or new in the box it is. So, like I said, Lego collectors definitely get after these, and depending on what kind of cars you're into, it's definitely a way to get something fun to add to your garage or your desk at work or something like that. So yeah, that's been this episode of Miniatures Mondays. We'll see you on the next one.